Kevin Barnett, Carbide 3D Studio, and it's time for your 1-minute build recap. Back on Friday, posted this guy right here. This block, this was the original idea. I wanted to make a caddy, but it wasn't the original structure. The caddy was the only idea here. I needed to figure out what to do with it, and I ended up making a block. Yes, this does have some similarities to the dragon block I posted a couple of weeks ago. Here's the difference with this item. Saleable. Absolutely saleable and easy to do. You make a block like this for hot sauce, pitch it to your local restaurants. Just make one and take it. See if they want it. If not, give it to them. You can make it out of anything. It can be made out of a 2x4. It doesn't have to be out of this really nice wood here that I ended up with from Taylor Guitars. Thanks everybody over there at Taylor. And because I explained to you on Friday that I have a short friend named Tim, I wanted to make him something that was more his size, more his speed. Mr. Doyle got this back on Saturday because we're filming on Friday. I will go this far for a joke. I will make you something beautiful that's funny. Things learned with this particular project. I keep a list on my phone. You might want to do the same, or perhaps put it next to your machine if you're still writing things down. Write it on an iPad, I don't know. I need a wider pocket for flattening. This makes sure that the bit gets all the way into the corners. Look at these little towers that are on the corners here. But just keep going, because in this case, the chamfer took those away. Now, either a separate toolpath for finishing, or do the math to create a small final step down. This applies to all your pockets. You might want to take a 1/2 or a 1/4 mil at the bottom, especially with some more delicate woods, and an upcut end mill if you were to be using that. You want to take down your chip out. Make sure your final pass is pretty small. You're not pulling up a millimeter worth of material at your final depth. Try stuff in the middle. I didn't know about chamfering the holes in the middle. I went ahead and did it in the middle of the project. I like it. I really like it. You can make separate letters for vertical text by spacing them out down the middle and make each of them a separate text item. Make sure you convert to curves so you can snap those for spacing. A stiff brush for fuzzies. Something above a toothbrush is really handy. If a toothbrush is all you have, great, go ahead and use that. You can probably get a firm one, but I like these little shop brushes that we have hanging around for pulling fuzzies off a whole variety of projects. Paint thinner will get super glue residue off of polished brass. I know when I use super glue, somehow it ends up on my hands every time. No matter how hard I try, it ends up on my hands. What a pain. I have a whole bunch more caddy ideas from this project. This is only the start. Once you have the business end, the interface of anything, which in this case is super easy, it simply is the right size, the right fit for the bottle that you're going to use. Once you have that, you can make any shape you want. I have a few other ideas, some acrylic, might get interesting. We'll see how quickly I circle back on that. Doing this project changed my whole plan for this office. I'm now going to make a spot over here for a Nomad and stack it in the corner where I can use it in my office full time. That was something new. I do test cuts in MDF, and you should too. I like to test out something to make sure my depths are right, my look is right. I did it twice with this project for both the faces of my blocks. You don't want to use your one-of-a-kind item the very first time. Finally, check your work holding. I'm filming and changing files and setting things up for the next part, also running a couple different machines, and I forgot to secure the block. Fortunately, it sat there and didn't move, and I realized it was moving a tiny little bit on the change of direction. Figured out, oh yeah, I hadn't tightened it down. You should do that. I really enjoyed this build, and if you've caught on throughout this whole thing, you figured out we have hot sauces as swag now. And they are muy caliente, muy explosivo. That's incorrect for a reason. It's so very correct. If you've been watching the content lately, you might have noticed some influence with these two projects from some other projects I've done. Certainly the Dragon Block was instructional. The Dragon Block project gave me the idea of how deep I could go on these particular insets. These are 48 millimeters. Dragon Block was 51. That was the outer reaches of what's possible. That was the abyss in the bottom of the ocean. 48, I knew I could get there, but that's only because I'd done the previous project. Also, just the idea of carving up a big block and putting some chamfers on it, that kind of thing certainly came from that exploration. In fact, it came from a similar blank. Now, the Live, Laugh, Love sign over in First 5, our brand new video unit on my.carbide3d.com, Over there, I had been working with some insets with the Live, Laugh, Love sign, and that gave me the measurements and dimensions that I could use here. And I've been making earrings. That gave me the idea to use brass. And I've been using MC Etcher 120 degree along with a 1/16 bit for cutouts. That's why I ended up with a brass inset and the designs inside of that. That's very much a part of that project coming into this project. So 3 different projects made up what went output in this particular project. Progression, learning, advancement, just flexing your muscle, your creative muscle. The more you create, the more you're going to create. The more different opportunities you take to try something new, the more skills you're going to have. That's your 1 minute build recap. Success this time.